What's good, guys? It's Nightwing2303.
And Jerron, man.
Today we're actually going to be going through the WearTesters Year in Review. Today's topics are the best of 2015. We're going to be going over the best of our on-court models as well as our off-court models. So with that being said, let's go ahead and just get right into it.
Chris, let's start with you. What is your favorite on-court model of this past year?
Like just my number one all-time?
Number one, you're going to the gym. You just learned that Steph and Clay are going to be playing pickup with you, so you want to rock your best stuff. Maybe it's the Under Armour Curry too. We don't know. But Chris, tell us, what is your number one? What are you putting in that gym bag to play pickup with the best players in the NBA?
This is actually a small teaser into my upcoming top 10 of 2015. And it is a tie because I can't make up my mind.
This is man of ties right here.
Yeah, I got plenty of them. Plenty of them. I'm either going to be going with my JC2 low tops or I'm going to go with my Air Jordan 29 lows. Both of them I think are fantastic models. I like this one's transition way more than this one. Same with the traction and everything, but the material thing, I mean, they're both bananas, dude. So yeah, I think that these are awesome. I think that there's going to be a small drop of these in December, but the main release is going to be actually like early spring. These are just sitting though, so if you wanted a pair of these, like, why? I don't know why everybody's just like chilling on them, but they're dope.
Right. Honestly, if I were you, I would give the JC2 low the edge, because the 29 low
is something we've seen before.
We've seen them before, but also it did some things that not as good as the mid did, right? Like the traction. Explain to the people, if they didn't watch your performance review, what happened there. Yeah,
for whatever reason, the traction on this pair versus the mid just wasn't quite up to the same level. I think it just has to do with the rubber that they used.
Probably. That's the only reason.
That's the only thing I can think of, because the traction pattern is exactly the same. So yeah, it's got to be the rubber compound. And the transition was clunky at first, which I did not like. But something that I really love though in shoes is traction and fit. Those are my top. Those are my top twos. And as long as you keep these clean, traction's good. But the fit on this is like 10 times better than the mid. Do you agree? Because you have a pair too.
I wouldn't say 10 times better, and I'm wearing them right now.
It's an exaggeration, but it's just so much better in this.
Yeah, I'm wearing them right now, and I was like,
did you go true to size?
Yeah, I went true to size, of course. This is how I know I'm a 10.5, because you put them on, it's 10.5, and it's literally the best fit. I think I gave it Hall of Fame fit last year in my performance review for the mid. But
I don't think I went that far, but for these I did.
The low, like, I was debating whether I was going to play in it or not. I opted not to, just because.
You didn't even take these out for a spin?
No, I like playing in the mid.
Well, see, that's where my thing is that I just
You like the low.
I love low tops.
So it's kind of a personal preference. It has nothing to do with a performance for me better as a mid. It's just like, it's a comfort thing, right? Like, I don't feel comfortable in skinny jeans. Some people do. Yeah. I'm not going to wear skinny jeans. The same thing with the lows. Sometimes I'm just not feeling the lows as much as the mids. So I opted just to keep them as a casual option. And hey, it works just as well as a casual option.
Whatever floats your boat. I think that this is the best looking 29 they've dropped. Don't you agree? It's got to be. It's got to be.
I don't know. There's some dope P that they dropped.
Yeah. Of course, there's some sick stuff that they never drop, but that happens with everything, man.
Okay, that they dropped, yes. Again, we talked about this in our preview of the 29 low. Jordan Brand didn't even scratch the surface of what the 29 can do.
The stuff that Jordan Brand makes for everybody but people that buy their products is ridiculous, because they make some of the dopest stuff.
Yeah.
Both retro, performance.
They take care of their friends and family.
Oh, dude, like the CP3s. Like, I mean, come on, man. Like, they come out with some sick stuff, and then they're just like, wait a minute, this not for you.
Part of me is okay with that, because it kind of just adds to the aura that is Jordan Brand, right?
See, so some of it, because I'm not their friend and family, so I get a little salty being like, yo, I can't get those 29s with the UNC on the side.
Yeah,
you know
me
what I
too.
mean?
Me too. But at the same time, it's like, that's what makes Jordan Brand so good.
Well, the thing though is that like back in the day, they used to come out with those.
Right.
Like the Team 2s that are actually retroing. I'm f***ing excited for those.
Yeah.
But the Team 2s, those was the college shoe. Like they had like the Cal Bears, the Cincinnati, UNC had them. Like everybody that was on Team Jordan back in the day, that was their shoe. And then the side right here in the midsole, it says Jordan on it. And then instead of that, it had their actual like college mascot name, which was sick. Cool. And they actually dropped like small stuff, but still it was still available somewhat. The CP3s, for example, I think it's called like the veg tan leather, and then the green suede or whatever.
Right.
That's a shoe where I would love to see them try to put that out, but not as like some like limited thing where you know that they're going to sell out and be popular all of a sudden, because everybody was like, oh man, those CP3s are dope, but then they see the actual performance one and they're like, yo, those are ugly. And I'm like, dude, it's the same shoe.
It's the same, just different
material.
It's
the same shoe, yeah. So I'm like, how can one be dope and one be ugly? So like really put out like a GR, like price it right too. Those are premium, right? Make them like $200 for a CP3, and then see, like, we'll see who's really about that, because that bothers me when like people don't, like, I don't know why they're so wishy-washy with stuff being like, oh, that shit's whack, but then make it limited and all of a sudden it's cool. Come on,
well,
bro.
That's just the culture. But also I feel like it's weird that I said before, it kind of just builds to the aura, but at the same time it's weird that they give press releases for those things that don't even come out.
That's the thing. So like back in the day, you used to see the
see it.
Yeah, you used to see the Tar Heels rock stuff, and you'd be like, man, those are sick.
You wouldn't get an official press release with official photos and a provenance story information behind it.
You'd have to really look hard. Like you'd have to like look at the image recaps on like Yahoo Sports.
Exactly. But now we get it thrown in our face like, y'all can't get these.
That's the problem. Is that they throw it in your face you know, you paid for this.
Yeah.
Because you bought all of our products this year.
Exactly.
But you don't get any of the benefits. And that's the part where I'm just like, yo, like, hook these kids up with dope stuff, right? Because they're signees or whatever. They're endorsers of the products. And just leave it at that. Let people speculate. Let people like see the images on Getty or whatever and be like, yo, look at what, you know, UNC rock today or whatever. Instead of being like, guess what they got? You know, like I just think that's messed up.
Why do you think they do that? Do you think it's to tease us, or do you
I don't think it's intentionally to like put on blast like, hey, you guys are peasants, but that's how it comes across.
That's how it comes across, but at the end of the day, I think it's for the dudes who like afford it, like celebrities or like real rich people.
Yeah, so that's the thing though. That's how those shoes always were. They were always a collectible.
True. Yeah, true.
Like only the people that were really submerged. Like when people talk about OG sneakerheads and like you know these guys that get salty about reseller kits and all that stuff. Like we're talking like real OGs. Like I know people personally that collect PEs and all that stuff. And there's like a subculture within the culture.
Right. Those were your favorite of 2015 Encore. For me, I really wanted to give it to this shoe right here. I mean, I really just wanted to give my favorite Encore model to this Rose 6, but I couldn't do it. Yes, it was great to see that the Rose is back to the top tier of Encore models, because the past couple years kind of been taking a back seat.
It fell off a little bit.
And it had a little bit to do with the actual sneaker. Also had a little bit to do with the man himself. Not being able to rock it and his Encore performance and controversy. But the Rose 6 came back and it came back hard. But I cannot condone what Adidas did with the materials. I just can't do it. We just saw team images of the Rose 6 that have very nice mesh upper.
Those are dope, yeah.
And that's a team shoe. I can't do it because it's not fair to the consumer.
And you saw the official, because on WearTesters we posted the official press release that shows the PrimeNet All-Star version.
Yes. And so there's that. It's not fair to the consumer because it almost feels like Adidas wants you to buy what they drop first, then release the good stuff later, and then you buy those because it's better than what you bought previously.
And that's where I feel other brands do things just slightly better in the marketing department, where they drop the energy stuff first.
Exactly. Yeah, they drop what's good first, then they give you some options down the line.
Nike does that the best, where they're dropping, like, we're talking Christmas Day stuff, and those are the first like Nike basketball, or they used to be, releases of the year, especially like with the Kobe line. And those would be your thing, like the Grinch or the Jokers. You know what I mean? Like the sickest stuff, they drop
the dopest stuff. So almost, Adidas, almost. Had you come out with and really, the Rose 6 should have just been priming it, in my opinion. But anyways, almost Adidas, almost. Great sneaker, probably the best Christian setup of all time. Am I right?
It's probably the best Rose of all time too.
Oh, it's definitely the best Rose.
Maybe the best overall Rose for like all position type of shoe.
Absolutely.
Because some of the Roses, like the 4s, weren't really great for bigger guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and the 2s.
True.
So, but what is my favorite sneaker on court of this year? I'm just going to have to give it to the Curry 2.
Bandwagoner over here.
I know,
Super bandwagoner
I know.
over here.
I should turn in my license to be a Lakers fan.
He's wearing a Bulls hat.
Oh, no, a Bulls hat.
He's a Laker fan, and then he's holding the Currys.
Oh.
Go outside.
I'm sorry. The reason why I picked the Curry 2, now, this might be a surprise to a couple people, because people who know me know that I know Under Armour could definitely do better than what they did on this sneaker. I still think they could have definitely found a way to integrate Speedform all the way and supply great support.
But on their behalf, this is what Curry wanted.
I mean, you'd have to, but the lows are coming out with the...
But he doesn't play, he trains in the lows, he doesn't play in the lows.
That's the weirdest thing, that he trains in the lows, but he doesn't play. Anyways.
Basketball players are superstitious.
Yeah.
And Curry's no different.
But
if you ever see Curry switch shoes mid-game, which he'll do, if he's playing up to in his mind, if he's not playing well, he'll switch his shoes to the last time that he played good, which was whatever colorway, and then he'll continue the game. And usually that's when he starts popping off in the third. But
also, the absence of 4D and Micro G, a layer just right there as a charged foam carrier houses it, that was definitely something I was looking forward to in the Curry 2, because they displayed this on some of their other models, like the Speedform Fortis, which is right up there with the Boost in the Rose 6 is the best cushion setup that I've ever experienced. But with all that being said, the Curry 2 did everything the Curry 1 did a little bit better. We're talking traction, the Curry 2 did better. Cushion, the charged foam was better than the Curry 1. And the support might be the only exception, but I would argue that it does it just as well, just a little bit differently. So at the end of the day, the Curry 2 upgraded in various sections, even the fit. And so that's why I have to really give Under Armour a pat on the back, because they improved on what was a really good model. So that's why the Curry 2 is my favorite on-court model of this year.
And they're a super solid option too. I mean, this
good price point.
This is a top 5 shoe no matter what.
Yeah, it's a good price point, and I also think it's a pretty sleek design, like aesthetically pleasing.
The price points on these shoes though, like if I'm looking, my top 10 list is right here, and you're not going to see it yet, but I'm looking at it, and every pair of shoes on there, if I keep the list the same, because I'm not sure if I'm going to switch it up, almost every single pair of shoes on there is either 160 or less. There's a couple of shoes that aren't, like the Jordans, right? I think this is like the year where other brands like not only brought it, but proved that you can pack in tons of performance without having to shell out a couple $100 every time.
Right. I have a question. Make this quick.
I'll try.
Do you think that Under Armour had anything to do with that? Do you think the other companies looked at Under Armour and said, holy crap, all their stuff is 130 or less, and their shit's going through the roof performance-wise?
Adidas started that though.
You're right.
Adidas started it, then Adidas f***ed up by being like, we're going to put our premium because Rose just won MVP.
You're right.
And then that fool got injured.
Yeah.
And then they just like straight clearance racked everything. Like every drop they had was just clearance bound. Under Armour stayed the same. They were coasting.
Yes.
They were coasting to the top ever since I reviewed their first stuff, the Torch and all that, like the way early models.
The Bloodlines.
Well, those I had, but I never reviewed them. But still. Okay. But yeah, they were straight up coasting under the radar this entire time. Then all of a sudden, boom, MVP, all this stuff. Like I remember when they signed Curry, and everybody's like, "Oh man, he should have stuck with Nike." Yo, I mean, his ankles seem to be okay. Knock on wood. But you know what I mean? Like the dude's killing it, and he couldn't stay healthy for shit in a Nike shoe. Like just straight up. So I wouldn't say that Under Armour started it, because Adidas started it. They just lost their way.
I wouldn't say started it, but kind of put pressure on the wound of these other companies to say, look, we're staying here.
Under Armour had a plan, because Under Armour, Adidas is doing the same plan right now, but Under Armour is like, everybody that works for Nike and their contract is up, bring them over.
Yeah.
Everything from the designers to the execs. Now they have these designs come out on all these brands that used to be Nike designers, right? And when they were designing product for Nike, people were like, yo, those are legit. They're designing from their same brains product for these other brands now, and all of a sudden
Power of a logo.
Yeah, all of a sudden people are like, yo, those are trash.
Power of logo.
But I guarantee you that same shoe would have dropped at Nike, but with a swoosh on it, and everybody would have been all for it.
I'm the bartender. You're cut off from the encore section. We're
There we
switching
go.
gears like Paul Walker, R.I.P. to off-court. Popular, but at the same time, it's very underrated.
That's because Reebok doesn't know what they're doing.
I know, they don't.
So-
you talk about Adidas sometimes not knowing what they're doing. Reebok
Adidas is
really
owned
hard.
Reebok is owned by Adidas. So that's the whole point. But like this shoe right here, this shoe should always be in production. It should always look like this, either low or mid, but white. Okay, not so